Today, I am so excited to be here. 100 Day Unleashing My Superpowers campaign. 40 women across the globe sharing their stories about how they navigated and achieved in a male-dominated work environment. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce to you my mentor, Claire Beckton. Claire is Canadian. I met her in 2018 when I was introduced to her as my mentor. She's such a phenomenal woman. She's a coach, she's a mentor, she's a motivational speaker, she's a board member, she's the most inspirational woman. I mean, talk about a very successful woman. You're gonna be inspired by her video. She's gonna share with you about the importance of having a coach, a mentor, a sponsor, and how to go about it. She's going to share with you peak performance strategies to succeed in a male-dominated work environment. But most importantly, this keeps coming up. Do you ask for what you want? Do you speak up? You see, because Claire, she's also a diversity and inclusion expert. She's well known for that. In fact, she's invited in so many conferences as a guest speaker to talk about diversity and inclusion. Do you speak up? Do you find your voice to raise issues? Because you see, not everybody knows what you want. If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. I would like to invite you to listen to Claire Beckton, maybe just to take you through her CV. She is also an author of Own It, Your Success, Your Future, Your Life. She has actually led groundbreaking research to change conversations. She facilitates and develops cutting-edge women's leadership development programs. She is currently the founding executive in residence for Carleton. She was actually the founding executor of the Carleton University Center for Women in Politics and Public Leadership. She currently chairs for governance for the International Women Forum in Canada and is a board member for many organizations. Welcome, Claire Beckton. Okay, so, role model, because I asked them, do you have a role model? And some of them they don't, some of them they do. So with you, did you have a role model?
Probably one of my best role models was a guy who had a very good way to manage and lead. And I learned a lot from him. But, for women, I think it is so important to have role models. And it's so important for women to realize that if they're in positions of leadership, you are a role model for other women, whether you see it or not. When I was Assistant Deputy Attorney General, I realized that my words and what I said and what I did were being watched. And so it became really important to think carefully about how you were saying things and the way you approached them, because you were a role model.
Yeah. Claire, just on the coach, did you have a coach yourself or a mentor? And I also want you to comment on sponsorships.
Coaching, yes, later on I did have a coach, and she was the one that helped me be able to speak to my deputy minister in a different way, to be able to be heard. And I learned a lot. And the coaching course I took itself was tremendously helpful in that regard. I think sponsors are so important for women. This is someone in an organization who actually talks about you and is there to try to move you forward in the organization. And that is so important. It's usually, we see men getting sponsored all the time by other men, but oftentimes women aren't. So it can be a formal program in an organization where the leadership makes a commitment to actually have a sponsorship program and sponsor women to move forward. But they have to take it seriously. The sponsors have to take it seriously. They have to look at the career aspirations, where this woman is in terms of her development, and ensure that she gets either the stretch assignments, the development that she needs in order to be ready for that next step. And the idea that I can do this myself is a bad one. You really do need to reach out, build those networks, and You need to think strategically, and you need to think what got me here where I am now won't
Yeah.
necessarily get me to the next level. So I have to look at what's valued at those levels. What are the skill sets that I will need, and make sure that I'm working on getting those skill sets. And that's how people advance. I mean, if I get the skill sets, I prove my ability to deliver, and I build those networks, then I have a much, much better chance of breaking through that glass, well, whether it's glass ceiling or not, but certainly rising in the organization.
3 practical leadership strategies, and I know we covered quite a lot, that one can take away for women. What can they learn to succeed in a male-dominated?
One leadership strategy is to take your place at the table. You make sure that you are making your contributions around that table, that you're speaking up, and that you're not sitting quietly and letting everybody else say what needs to be said. So basically showing up, being prepared, and not being afraid to speak up. And even if you think you didn't do a good job, just go back and say, okay, that wasn't so great. Now, next time I'll do better. But you have to be there at the table. I think building those networks, as we've talked about before, is so important, because you need, and using your networks. Because if you don't have networks, if you don't build those relationships, it's very hard when the time comes to advance, because people don't really know who you are. They don't know if they should take a chance on you.
Yeah.
But if you built that relationship, you built those networks, then that will get you a number of places. So that's an important strategy.
Thank you so much. That was Claire Beckton, all the way from Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Patience. It was wonderful to work with someone like you.